Good morning. Welcome to our introduction to the Russia Mega MapRaid. I don't know where everybody is in terms of using Waze Map Editor. I know we're at many different levels. We'll be working together and we'll all be learning something during this MapRaid. Of course, we know our most important goal is we're going to be improving the map. We're going to be looking for the best ways to make the map work for Wazers. We'll need a lot of communication. We're in many different countries. We have many different time zones. Our language will be English. Please use simple English. Pictures with arrows are very helpful. We'll be communicating on Discord. Most of you have probably logged into the Discord server, which we will use for this MapRaid. This presentation will be available after the webinar, and there will be some links you can follow to help yourself get set up. Before you begin, in the MapRaid, please make sure that you have some settings. In chat, you can see on the lower left hand, make sure you're visible when you're on the map. This will help you work with other editors. Set your preferences for the metric system. Generally, draw roads as two-way and allow all arrows. This will make it easier to get your arrows set directly. Also, see down at the bottom, spread it when arrows overlap. That way, you'll have an easier time editing arrows to control your turns. Street View is available in Russia. There may be some places where it is not available. Where you see it, use it. You can figure out which roads are roads, which are not roads, and which turns are allowed at intersections. If you see a military area, leave it alone. Remember, we're going for quality on this MapRaid, so slow down. Get the details correct. Remember, we want Wazers to be able to use the maps which you draw. Quick edits often do more damage than they do good. So slow down, focus on quality. Please read the wiki and read it again. If English is not your first language, get some help to translate. Make sure you check connections. Some roads look connected but are not. Check the arrows which control the turns. Find roads which should be added and remove roads which don't belong there. We can add forests and water features, especially where they help Wazers figure out where they are, but they're not one of the most important goals of this MapRaid. As you gain experience, you can help think about the correct road types to improve routing. If you're a new editor, always work with an experienced editor if you think you need to change the road type. Remember, never use the off-road 4x4 road type. Many times there will be an unpaved road, but we don't really want to use the unpaved checkbox. Please read the wiki and work with more experienced editors to get a feel for this. Do not add speed limits. Only the locals should be adding speed limits. If you see them already on the road, leave them alone. Locals have added them. Do not create new city names on your own. There will be a request form for that. We're going to draw roads that connect smaller villages and towns. If we can't find the information about street names or cities, we will leave it blank. We can depend on our local hosts and experts to help track down some of this information. Where you see roads that are not drawn quite right, align them. Our latest aerial images are pretty good in most areas of the map. If you see somebody else has made a recent change and you don't understand it, contact them. Maybe they have some different information than you have. Some junctions might not be drawn in a way that really works well for Wazers. In this example, you can see the instructions which Waze will give would be very strange. This intersection can be simplified. It is easier to draw and maintain and will give better instructions for drivers. You'll see many instances of intersections drawn in strange ways. You can make simple improvements to the map which will improve things for drivers. You will also find extra nodes, which means extra segments on the map. You can remove them. If you don't know how to do this, talk to a more experienced Wazer. Sometimes you will find roads that were drawn by other map editors with less experience, and the directions are not set correctly. You can correct this. Usually in a rural area, roads are two-way. Sometimes you'll see a one-way road, which shows a way to a place and no way to get out again. You'll know that there was some mistake in drawing. You can correct this. Sometimes you'll see where two roads come together, but there are no arrows. This is because there is no junction. You can fix this. You pull that apart by pulling one road away, dropping it. You can drop it back onto the segment it should connect to, and the Waze Map Editor will make them join. Then you'll see the turn arrows. Then you can turn the red arrows green where they need to be. Sometimes there'll be some arrows, but not enough. So you'll know some segments have connected and some have not. You can use the same procedure in this case. We want to keep it simple. Sometimes there are farm tracks and roads to nowhere. They will not help drivers. We don't map those. But we see an unpaved street which connects two villages or towns. We'll want to map those. Here's a difference between too many roads mapped and the right number of roads mapped. On the right-hand side, you see connections between homes and the streets which will take them to other villagers. On the left-hand side are extra roads which may be farm roads, which don't seem to go anywhere. They can only cause confusion for drivers. Use the quality roads that will help the drivers. You can zoom in to see details. Now we see somebody has thought about drawing a fence. Don't draw fences. Don't draw gates. Watch out for them. Another way to keep it simple. We see a triangle intersection. It is not necessary. This can be turned into an intersection shaped like a T. Wazers will get better instructions as a result. Here is an example of a road which does not belong there. You may delete it. Sometimes a piece is missing. You draw it. This connects Wazers to the villages they need to travel to. You may need to turn off the satellite to see better whether the road is a good one or a bad one, if it's a fence line or a real road. In some places, a stop point has not been added. Waze might direct people to a wrong road to get them to a center of a place. You can learn about how to add entry and exit points, which are close to the road where Wazers should enter this place. You may run into problems with the Waze Map Editor. You may get errors. Don't panic. We will have information about solutions and workarounds. When you see this presentation later, you will be able to follow a link for some common ways to solve problems with saving errors. You might see a segment which doesn't have any geometry points and you cannot edit it. You will need to reload WME, Waze Map Editor, by clicking that permalink icon. Sometimes you save and the screen freezes. Wait a few seconds, maybe 10, and refresh the whole browser window to reload the Waze map editor. Sometimes we see something which we call ghost roads. Your saves did not go through quite right, and you can't edit them. If you're not sure what to do, talk to an expert. Sometimes Waze Map Editor has problems. We can work around them. If you're not sure, just ask. There will be many, many more experienced editors and editors with local knowledge who will be happy to help. One thing you may see is unconfirmed turns. They're also called soft turns. One of the recommended scripts for this MapRaid is called Toolbox. It can help you find soft turns. This will help improve Waze routing when you correct the soft turns by confirming them, by telling the Waze map editor that somebody has checked them. You will be able to use information to get the names right on state highways. This will also help set the correct type. Talk to the experts in your group. If you have questions, again, talk to your group leaders. Talk to more experienced editors in your group. And talk to the organizers. We'll help you get the information you need. And remember, always reread the MapRaid wiki page. Sometimes during the MapRaid, we get new information and corrections. We will update the wiki page throughout the MapRaid, so please check back frequently. We want to thank very much editors who worked on some of these slides. We're building on the work that was done for previous MapRaid. We want to thank Maui's and Freesoft for their beautiful work. Tour guide for the WOW India MapRaid. And I would like to thank everybody who contributed to this webinar. OrbitC, who has organized this entire MapRaid, Tinfoil Hattie, Freesoft for creating some beautiful slides. And I myself, Valudu, would like to thank you for listening today. Thank you all.
Good morning, everybody. This is OrbitC. Thank you for Valudu for the great work. Joseph, Kins, go ahead.
What's the best way to confirm unconfirmed turns?
The first thing you want to do is edit the turns. Check them all. Some of them will be incorrect, usually red. But if you've checked all the turns at the junction and you've determined that they're all correct, there should be a button in the Waze Map Editor that you can simply confirm all the turns. If you're running Toolbox, you simply hit the letter Q.
Joseph asked about the link for the wiki page. We will be sending the links for everybody for the wiki page, and we will have other information as well throughout the MapRaid. Will asked, are ones be allowed to delete non-owned roads? Okay, when will you be providing the areas assigned to the groups? Do we have a list of official sites to verify road names in cities? Will there be a functional classification information for areas with no roads? Will there be a guide to the proper road type to be used? Yes. I joined late, but I saw that unpaved roads are not to be ticked. Is that correct?
That is one of the guidelines, and there's we have some roads which are unpaved, but which our hosts desire not to have the unpaved box ticked. There's a mention of this in the wiki page, and we may need to talk to our group leaders and local hosts in some cases where we're unsure.
The same goes with the off-roads and 4x4 roads. We don't map those in this MapRaid. Will we need to install a Russian keyboard? It's easy if you need to. We have instructions on that, but we will have our hosts, like I said earlier, so we'll start the roads with the proper name and information, and then we'll just use that to build the rest of the roads. How can we know if a certain area is a military area? You can always ask. We can verify if this area is a military or not. We will verify with the hosts. We have a lot of new editors in this raid. Can you explain we need to zoom in to a certain zoom level to draw roads? You need to be zoomed in enough that you can see the road details. Meaning, I've seen some editors in the past map raids that they draw roads with sharp angles or a little bit off than the actual street view. So when you zoom in, you can see that they are not really aligned with the road, as we were explaining earlier, that you need to make sure the roads are actually aligned with the Google Street View or the Waze map. Okay, I'm a level 3 editor currently. I have about 110,000 edits. Do I need to have a mentor? You can have a mentor, of course. It's good to have a mentor or work with someone or have someone that you can ask questions. It's good to have that. And we have actually several private channels set up for individuals who came together as a group to work. And there's a mentor, there's a bunch of mentees working together. And it's a good opportunity for you to, ask any questions you need to ask and get answers throughout this map. We will need to use the row server. Row is the rest of world server. Yes, you need to use the rest of world server. Are there any other questions? Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Bully, for the great job. It was an awesome job.
Thank you very much.